Marigold Suicide by ALIAS. When I woke up this morning, it was from drops of blood falling onto my face. As my vision cleared, I saw something hanging, dangling limply from the slowly rotating ceiling fan. Our dog had hung herself. Marigold, I cried for her, but of course she could not hear me. She'd been dead long before I could have stopped her. In my grief, I carefully took her down. Barbed wire was tied in a noose around her neck, and blood from her wound had dirtied some of her shiny fur. I remember how we used to love Marigold, how we used to play with Marigold. I remember the fields, the stream, the great oak tree. I cry as I think of the times we spent with Marigold as she lay lifeless now in my arms. I knew I owed her a proper goodbye for the good she brought. I tied the barbed wire of her noose around my shoulders and walked out into the dark. You know, our house is so dark, and Marigold used to shine so brightly, but now the blood has coated her beautiful fur. As I stumbled through the black, I bumped into old cupboards and antique dressers. I stubbed my toe on a table we should have thrown out years ago. Lots of things from times I thought I'd left behind, things I could avoid with Marigold beside me. With a step, my head rattled full of thoughts. Had it been me? Did I drive Marigold to this end? Did I not love her enough? Or did I love her too much? Did I not pet her fur as she wanted? Was the food I gave not to her liking? And then another thought. Was it you, perhaps? Could you have hurt her, scorned her in some way, hurt her so she would feel the need to do this? Our own beloved dog. I walked to the stream by memory, tears gently stinging my eyes. Looking down at its stained coat, the shimmer lost under streaks of blood. Gently laying her into the river, I watched the crystalline water take on a new shade. Liquid rubies flow away, leaving only the golden fur. Perhaps it wasn't me. Maybe it wasn't you. Maybe this is what happens when a dog served its purpose. I lift her body from the river. The fur is matted by the water, but the golden sheen continues. I hold her in my arms and feel her weight. She's heavier than I remember. I think of the beast inside the fur, the teeth that bit me, the throat that growled. She would sometimes run from me, leaving me alone in the dark. I'm sure there are times she did the same to you. As I reach the base of the great oak tree, resting her body at its roots, I find myself confused and conflicted. Did she ever love us? Did we ever love her? All the times we needed her, all the times she hurt us? I brush my hand gently across her golden fur. She was good though, and she was kind. Maybe it's not as simple as I would like it to be, but we did love her. Maybe, in some way, we still need her. I take a knife from my pocket, I pierce the blade into her stomach just below the skin and gently make my way across. I think in the end, Marigold understood better than we did. She knew she had no more to give. I wrap myself in what was Marigold's pelt. Her fur's shine seems somehow brighter than before. I place one hand on Marigold and say my goodbyes before I leave her by the tree. We loved Marigold and always will, but our time together is over. Her golden fur will stay with us always.